All right. I think our rest party is fully arrived. My name's Ray. I feel like I know pretty much all of you. Super excited for today. Today's kind of extra special because we have two amazing massage therapists, Jen Gillespie and Tarsi Rosario, floating around doing the hands-on assists in our restorative section. And also just know that, well, first of all, they're extremely well trained and intuitive about where and how to assist. But if at any time you're feeling like, oh, I wish they would give me more pressure or a little bit less pressure, we always welcome little whispers of like, hey, a little more, or like a little less. And then that information basically, gets transmitted to the other two people that need to know, and we'll make sure that we're meeting you where you are that way. And we also have a special treat. I'm going to be leading us through a little bit of myofascial release and qigong to start, because it's kind of like a energetic shower. Like, you know how I feel like most all of us in this room, based off of how it smells in here, probably shower at least once a week. And it's just as important to do that on the inside, and make sure that we're rinsing off a lot of the emotional and energetic things that we're taking on or accumulating. If we don't also energetically rinse that off, it can get a little gnarly. So we're going to start off with that and then move into some restorative. And then we have our lovely plant mama and water, all things water and feminine, expert Brittany Thurlow, who's going to lead us in a closing water-themed Dharma talk, as well as kind of a little meditation nidra, and that's how we'll close. I know that it's technically spring equinox, but the theme for this class is actually still on water and making sure that we're kind of fully filled up and dropped in there into filling up our stores energetically, making sure we're in sync with the water element of winter, which making sure that we have that filled up and ready to go is what's going to make our spring energy actually really effective. So we are just going to move slow and relax and fill you guys up energetically and go from there. Does that sound good? Also, all to the live soundscape, sound healing of Hans Joseph on the cello, and he also brought his guitar, so bonus. Extra all around. So we will start standing. If you want to come up to standing, and then also take out one of your little balls out of the tote and just have that kind of out and ready at the bottom of your mat. And then just finding your balance, your center, feet hip distance apart. And then take a big shrug of the shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, drop the shoulders. Two more. Maybe look up at the beautiful sleeping lady behind us. And exhale and sigh and release. Last time, roll up. And exhale, drop down. Beautiful. Knees are soft, pelvis is neutral, and then breathe the palms in up to about shoulder height. And then as you exhale, let them flip, and then just slowly press down to your hips. Beautiful. A few more like that. This is called a shelf breath. Comes from qigong, but I love using it as a centering and a way to tap into your breath and a way to regulate your nervous system as soon as you arrive. And all of that happens by you lengthening your exhale. So we're coming into an equal in as we take the amount of time it takes to float the hands up, and then an equal time on the exhale as the hands float back down to the hips. Get soft in your face. Deep through your breath on the way in, and then slow through your breath on the way out. So this act of just drawing a little bit more attention, a little bit more awareness to your exhale, extending the time that it takes for you to breathe out, it's going to help slow your heart rate and shift you into the repair side of your autonomic nervous system. Also talking to a few people that were floating in the lobby, and just also things that I know, and also experiencing the last week of my own life. I feel like things have been a little bit crazy. So this is a time for us to settle that down, set that down, and move in a different way around it. So a few more rounds here. There's this story about an older gentleman that was worried that his wife was losing her hearing. So he decided to test it from behind her easy chair and said, "Hey, honey, can you hear me?" from about 10 feet away. And she didn't respond. He moved in closer and said, "Hey, honey, can you hear me now?" And she still didn't say anything. So he moved up right next to her chair and said, "Hey, honey, can you hear me?" And she said, for the third time, yes. And I love this story as it relates to the water element, because in Chinese medicine, it also relates to our ability to listen. And also how perception is everything. And when we're resourced, when we're rested, when we're filled up, I think it's a lot easier to listen instead of outward, to instead listen on the inside, to reconnect to the intuition, the wisdom that's already there. Last 3 breaths here. For the last 2, just breathing softly out of your mouth like a little sigh. Inhale on the way up, or a yawn. Those are good too. Last time, inhaling up. And exhale, release. And then just release. Let the hands just kind of swing side to side as you notice where your ball is. Then draw that little ball under your right foot. And then just find it right under the center of your foot and give it a few pulses down. We're going for a level of sensation of around 3 to 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. So go in easy. And then press the ball down, and then pretend you're screwing it into the floor, into your mat, kind of shear it side to side. And then take a full length rock of the foot. Maybe go a little bit more towards the inner arch. Usually you can find something interesting there. Or towards the outer edge of the foot. And then rock it down to the lowest part of the arch of the foot. And then take a few bounces there, right above your heel. A little bit of weight there. And then another little shearing movement side to side. And then another full length rock of the foot. So the energetic pathways, called meridians, also run in tandem with our fascia. So as we roll and release and hydrate the fascia with these balls, which we're now going to roll up to the top of the foot, anchor the heel, let your toes relax around it. We're creating a little bit more physical mobility in space. And also clearing out of those stressful emotions, experiences. Take a little rock now across the top of your foot, left to right. And then one more full-length rock of the foot. This time you're exploring, you're trying to find that one place that was maybe a little extra sensational. And now that you've warmed your way in, we can give a little bit more pressure, a little bit more weight, a little bit more sensation to release that. So find a really juicy spot and then start to lean a little bit more weight in, give yourself a little bit more intensity, get melty around it. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, release out of the mouth. Then last little full length rock of the foot. We have these planes of fascia in the body, kind of like big sheets, one up the front, one down the back, one up the sides for twisting, and they all start inside the feet. Go ahead and roll that ball forward and then just step the right foot back down. Maybe close the eyes as you take a deep breath in from the feet all the way up to the crown of your head. Notice your right foot compared to the left. And then we'll come into balance on the other side. Rock the ball under the middle of your left foot. Ease your way in. So since all these planes start inside the feet, it's kind of like a full body warm-up as we reduce some of the adhesions there, draw more fluid in with these movements. That's going to translate all the way up the body. Start to shift into that shearing movement left to right. For instance, a lot of low back pain actually comes from tight plantar fascia. It's also why I like to start this with the feet and then shift to that full length rock of the foot, maybe a little bit more on the arch, a little bit more on the outer edge. And then rock it to that lowest part of the arch of the foot above the heel. Take a few bounces. A few deep breaths. And then shift into that side to side shearing movement. And then back into that full length rock of the foot. And then come up to the pad of the foot. Anchor the heel, let the toes just curl around and relax. And then you can bend the knees for a little bit more, dropping in, dropping down of the weight. And then take a little rock across the pad of the foot, just under the toes. And then another full length rock of the foot. This last time it's exploratory. You're deciding where you're going to drop in and melt around. Let it be a little bit intense. And then take another look to see what's underneath that. So get still. Relax down, lean in. Not everything is as it seems. One more deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, big sigh out the mouth. And then last little rock and rinse of the foot. And then roll that forward. Come back to your mountain pose. Another deep breath in here. Feel both your feet grounded. Maybe a little bit more connected to the floor, a little bit more secure. And then breathe both palms up overhead. Big stretch up, and then exhale, hands come together as you fold from the waist. Inhale up, halfway lift to a flat back. And then exhale, fold down into a little cannonball, and then come down to your seat. Then take that little ball and one of your blocks. And we'll start on the left side. Draw the ball under the meatiest part of your calf. So, a little higher, kind of where it's the thickest part of the muscle. And then lean your hands back and then just point and flex through the toes. Or circle through the ankle. And then take a little rock side to side. Starting gentle, and then if you're like, I'm not really feeling anything, you could cross your right ankle on top for a little bit more weight. That always ups the ante. Ooh. And then again, find that place where you can get still with the added weight or without it, just for the last few breaths. Deep breath in, slow breath out. And then we'll release off of that. Pull the block up a couple inches so you're higher, closer to the crease of your knee, but you're not in the crease of your knee. And then again, lean back, little flex, little circle. And then shift into that rock left to right. Relax through your face. You add the weight of the other leg. And then you're kind of noticing where you're going to get still and drop in for those last two breaths. Get heavy through the legs, relaxed, get melty, deep breath in, deep breath out. One more time, breathe in. And exhale. Then release that. And then remove the block. Drop that left calf down. Just a little breath to notice how melty and low does your left calf feel compared to the right. Then we'll come into balance on the other side. Coming to the center of the right calf. Little tip back, and then just starting nice and slow, little circles or a point and flex. And tight calves, tight or stiff or dehydrated fascia in the calves can also transfer some referred pain up to your low back, or just lessen the mobility that you have there. Shift into your rock left to right. I always like to start with the feet and the calves just because of for the low back. Maybe you add the weight of the other leg. It's also, the calves are considered to be a second heart inside the body as far as circulation goes, and the way that the veins there, when the muscle gets compressed, assist with venous return, the blood flooding back up, pushing its way up through gravity back to the heart. And then get still somewhere that's interesting, that's maybe a little intense. Relax, get melty, breathe deep. And exhale. Last time, breathe in. And let it go. Then release, unwind. Draw the ball up a couple inches higher. Still not in the crease of the knee, and then tip back. Same thing, little rock or point and flex. And then shift into that rock left to right. Maybe add the weight of the other leg. Notice where it feels maybe a little extra tight, and that's where you get still for the last few breaths. Also, the calves are a huge part of lymphatic flow and drainage. So as we roll through the fascia here, get still and drop down for the last 2 breaths, get melty. Exhale slow. You're also improving the circulation in your body and the movement of your lymph, which helps your immune system. And then release. Off of that. Come off the block. Shift that off to the side. Maybe take a little pause just to notice how relaxed both your calves are now dropped into the floor. And then take your other little ball out of the bag. We're just going to do a quick little shoulder release. Then we'll shift toward some more restorative shapes. And we're going to lie down on them just to give you a little visual. This is about where you want them to be, kind of that place you want your friend to come and massage you. Just barely pinned under the body, a few inches away on either side from your spine. So start with the your feet grounded and the knees bent, and then come down to your back and kind of nudge the balls just underneath you so that the weight of your body pins them down. Ooh, yeah. And then as you find that placement, you'll inhale both palms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, reach them up overhead. They don't have to touch the floor, just reaching in that direction. And then inhale, flow back up to the ceiling. Exhale, back down to the floor. We'll do one more like that. Inhale, breathe up. Exhale, reach back. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, drop the hands down to your hips. This time, little option, unless this is already feeling intense, then just stay as you are, to lift your hips along with your hands. So you come up into a little bridge shape, giving a little more weight, a little bit more sensation into the shoulders, into the balls, reaching up overhead. Hips are high, and then exhale, hips drop, hands float back up, and then down to land on either side of the hips. One more like that. Inhale to reach up and back overhead, and then exhale, unwind. And then let the hands drop either side. Press into your feet, and then kind of lift and roll and scooch yourself up your mat a couple inches so the balls roll an inch or two lower down your back. And then breathe the palms back up towards the ceiling. And then open them up a little bit wider, like you're hanging on to a giant steering wheel. And then take a couple turns each direction. One sharp turn to the left, and then another sharp turn to the right. Notice how that shifts the sensation of the balls. And then start to release the palms just kind of into a free form, exploratory movement, like they're two pieces of seaweed on the ocean floor. Just kind of noticing how the exploration, the movement shifts the sensation and the release happening underneath you. And next exhale, slowly guides the hands to drop back down either side of your hips. Press down into the feet one more time. Roll yourself up a few inches. The balls are rolling down towards the shoulder blades. And then again, inhale the palms to reach up towards the ceiling. Ooh. Soften through your face, through your jaw. And then again, open the palms a little wider. Start with that giant turn on the steering wheel to the left. And then to the right. And then let that just kind of release into that seaweed movement. You can bend the elbows down to the floor, reach them up overhead towards the floor. It can be more of a modern interpretive dance, along with some deep breaths. And then nice and slow, release the palms back down either side of the hips. And then just kind of take a little rock to one side, release one of the balls, or rock to the other side. Get that one out. And then find your little tote bag for them before they can go rogue. And go ahead and put both of them back in. And as soon as you have those contained, then hug the knees into your chest and take a little rock side to side across your sacrum. Hug the knees into the chest. You can stay here. You can also send the feet up towards the ceiling. Take a happy baby. Bend and extend through the legs. Holding onto the outer edges of the feet or outer edges of the ankles or the knees. A few breaths to just take some gentle stretches. And then release out of that. Tuck the hands underneath the knees and take a little spinal rock forward and back for a couple breaths. Trace your spine. And then rock all the way up to your seat. Cross the ankles. Come onto all fours. And then take a few cat-cows here. Tuck your toes. Drop your belly. Lift your face. Breathing in. And then exhale, arch the back, push the floor away. 2 more like that. Tuck the toes, lift your face, hammock the belly. And then exhale, arch it up, breathe it out. Last time, breathing in, toes tuck, look up to the mountains. And exhale, let it out. And then come to a flat back and then slowly lower yourself down to your belly. And then pillow the hands, let your forehead rest. Let your feet go wide behind you. Take a little shimmy across your sacrum. And let your body get heavy and dropped in here. And then using the floor, the weight of your body down, as feedback for where your breath is. One of the best ways to regulate the nervous system just by simply breathing a little bit deeper on the way in, exhaling a little bit slower on the way out. One of my favorite yoga teachers says that we can save the world just by laying ourselves down. Slowing down enough that we can actually listen on the inside. So a few more breaths here. And last, deep breath in, feel it fill in your belly, your ribs, your chest. Feel all of those spaces and places empty as you exhale. Then slowly lifting your head and pressing yourself back towards a child's pose. Knees can be together or wide, whatever is your favorite expression of the pose. You can also use a block under your forehead or even under the chest as kind of a makeshift bolster if your hips are a little bit more tight. And then breathing into the back of the body here. Letting the inhale start around your sacrum, the low back, the kidneys. Then letting it expand and fill up into the rib cage, all the way into the back of the heart. Few more breaths here in this shape. And last deep breath in through the nose from the belly. Exhale nice and slow and soft, maybe out of your mouth into your mat. And then next breath shifts you forward. As you're ready, coming into a gentle downward facing dog. Just nice and easy, pedaling through the heels. Maybe stretching through the side body, a little nod or a shake of your head. And then gradually getting slower and more still with your movements, just for a couple breaths inside a full downward facing dog. Just feeling that nice stretch in the body. Keeping your breath that steady undercurrent. And then nice and slow, little baby steps forward to meet your hands at the front of the mat. Feet land maybe a little wider than hip distance apart. Soften through the knees. Drape the upper body forward, maybe to rest on the tops of your thighs. Fingertips reaching for the floor. Crown of the head reaching for the floor. And taking about 2 more breaths here. Again, as much of a bend inside the knees as you need for the hamstrings. And then with your next breath in, sliding up halfway lift to a flat back. And then exhale, fold all the way back down into that little cannonball shape. And then come down to your seat, and you'll grab one of your blocks and your strap. And you'll start with feet grounded about hip distance apart. Take your block on the skinniest level in between your legs. Then you'll take this loop at the end of your strap, draw it over your feet, about 2/3 of the way up your shin bone. Make sure the buckle's hanging out in the space in between your shins. And then tighten it up. Make sure that your feet have about 2 fists distance in between them. That's going to help keep the tension inside the strap. And then the block and the strap are helping hold your hips at neutral. And then you'll tighten up your strap just to that point where if you relax your knees, the block doesn't drop out from in between your legs. And you want about a 90-degree angle in your legs, about like this. So your full foot is planted into the floor, all 4 corners of the feet. And then as we lie back, some of this angle, kind of as you lie back, you can see how it gets longer. So scooch your seat up towards your heels, tighten up the angle in your knees, and then drop down to your forearms, then all the way down to your back. Maybe draw your blanket in under the back of your head and neck. And then we'll be floating the room to help you out with any adjustments on your props, as well as some nice relaxing assists. So don't hesitate to lift a palm if you feel like you haven't quite found that sweet spot. Here, lift your head up for me. All right. There you go. And in the ancient tradition of Chinese medicine, it's kind of like this poem within the calendar year. And the season of winter is related to the water element and to a slower rhythm where we're able to relax. Instead of expending energy, you're storing it up. And that's so that you can move into spring after getting grounded. Go ahead and separate your feet for me a little bit. And back into the body. Yeah. So after you've taken time to slow down, to listen in, to tap into your intuition, into the answers that you already have, that's what gives you the clarity to shift from listening into envisioning and dreaming and action. But if you skip the step of slowing down and listening in, makes that second part a lot harder. And in this shape, you are lengthening and relaxing through your psoas. Which is a big part of the sympathetic side of the nervous system, the fight or flight, the run, the do. So as you relax and lengthen there, you're creating more space for the low back. And then it's also the muscle that attaches the most deeply into our gut, which is why they call it the psychic psoas. Houses your intuition. Lift your head up for me. I'm going to fix this for you. Okay. Relax through your face, through your jaw, and at the root of your tongue, around the corners of your eyes. Scoot your feet back a little bit. My dad is a pastor, and he'll kind of lighten things up by making fun of me if I am reacting or projecting or getting feisty over a situation, and he'll say, "Man, you're an excitable little thing, aren't you?" And then he always likes to say one of his favorite verses in the Bible, which is, "Be still and know that I am God." Which I think has a lot of wisdom in it if we're looking for answers or feeling fragmented, running around, doing more, trying to prove ourselves to ourselves or anyone else isn't really where we get the answers. I think that happens when we get still, when we take a deeper breath in and a slower breath out. So for our last few rounds of breath here, we're going to come together into a breath, the four corners breath. You inhale to the count of 4. You hold that breath in to the count of 4. You exhale slow to the count of 4. And then hold empty at the bottom for the count of 4 before you breathe in again. So taking just a cleansing breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Then breathing in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold empty, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold empty, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold empty, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold empty, 2, 3, 4, last time, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold empty, 2, 3, 4, and then a regular breath in, Regular breath out. One more like that, breathing in and just sighing it out. Then nice and slow, reach forward, remove the block from in between your knees. And just nice and slow, shrug the strap off of the legs. As you pull the right knee in towards your chest. And take a little circle, sway down to the floor, into the chest. Sighs at the mouth. Left leg is long in front of you. And then hugging that knee in towards your chest as you breathe in. And then exhale, just nice and slow, pass it over to the left hand, let it cross the body. And then here's where you get to decide if this more active kind of yin supine twist is what your body needs, or if it needs something more gentle, then just bend that left knee underneath it. Let it come up and under. Support. And then we'll take a few breaths here. Still finding space to breathe from the belly. And to exhale nice and full and soft. Relax through your face. Support your body. Few more breaths here on this side. Last deep breath in from the belly. Exhale it out, nice and slow and soft, a little more audible out of the mouth. Then take a deep breath in, hold that breath in as you draw yourself back up to neutral. Maybe another little rock that knee and leg before you extend it forward. Then switch over to the left leg. Pull that in, take a few circles, sways. And then hugging that in close to your chest as you breathe in. Exhale, pass it across the body. Find your twist on this second side. Knock over, clear out of the way anything that you need to. Make space. Stay slow with each exhale. Try to stay soft through the face. And last deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale out of the mouth. And then deep breath in. Hold it in as a brace to help rock yourself back towards center. And then extend that leg straight out. Take a little pause here in a 5-pointed star. Just letting your body get wide on the mat. And heavy. And last few breaths here. And then nice and slow, pull the knees up into the chest. And then take a rock, a little tip, a little sway down to the left side into fetal pose. And then slowly press yourself up to a seat. And you can use any of the props, sitting on the edge of a blanket or sitting on the block. And then just releasing through the head and the neck through a few slow and easy circles, tips, and sways. And we'll start to transition into our final part of practice. Little meditation around the element of water with Brittany. So using the props however you need to find that cozy seat. And we'll do a little transition here on the mic.
I invite you all to gently close your eyes. We're going to start with a breath called the wave of life. And with this breath, you're You're going to imagine a wave coming from behind you of pure, crystalline water. Like a wave, it's going to brush against your back, go through your body, your heart, and out your front. And when you're doing this breath, you can envision kind of like, maybe like when you're in the ocean and you're chest deep, and the wave, when it comes, is gently lifting you and setting you back down. It's gently hitting your back. You can feel your feet brush against the bottom of the ocean, and it's setting you back down. And in your own time, you'll continue your breath. It'll just be a rolling wave, and you can make it as exaggerated as you want. If you want to start rolling your body gently with this wave of breath. We'll take a few more rounds, building coherence in our waves. And in your own time, one more breath. Water. Water is life. Water is life. When we think about water in our body, there's so many places we could go. We think about the saliva in our mouth, moisturizing our tongue, our teeth, our gums, our throat. We can think about our blood, the plasma, the liquid part of our blood, the host to our cells. We can think about our stomach acid helping us digest food, our bile. We can think about our bladder helping us get rid of waste. We can think about our lymphatic system. We can think about our cerebral spinal fluid. We can think about our mucous membranes, the sweat that forms on our bodies when we're in action. We can even think about our breath. When we breathe out, that air has gentle water that's been warmed up by the heat of our bodies. Water is life. When Ray was leading us through those practices at the beginning, she said some really, beautiful words about when we're working with our fascia and we're doing these certain poses or using these maneuvers that help create pressure and tension, it helps to cleanse. And that is in every way true. When we compress our fascia, we're cleansing out memory. Fascia is known as a crystalline liquid structure. What do we know happens when we crush crystals together, when we tap crystals together? Light forms. And that is happening inside your body all the time. You are water, you are light. Fields of information are stored within this crystalline liquid structure. And when we compress and release through these poses of restoration, through working out, through moving our body, even through breath, we're cleansing out our fascia. Water is life. Water is life. I invite you on a journey with me. We're going to lean back and find a restful Savasana pose. Our lovely assistants and teacher Ray are going to help create a beautiful little meditation nest. Might need to have another layer if one is around you, just creating a space of total comfort for you to receive. And when you found that final place, I invite you to ask your body, is there anything else that I can do to make you more comfortable? Water is life. When we think of water, we think about its ability to cleanse and to purify, and also to wash over us. We all came from the water. We were born from the water. And in this state, we are liquidous in nature. That's what holds us together. I invite you now to close your eyes and envision a pool of white light above you. A pool of white, pure crystal water above you. And this water is cleansing and purifying. It's available. And this water is going to pour over you, slow like molasses. It starts at the crown of your head, white light, mid-brain, temples, ear, mid-ear, pools of white light, sinuses, jaw, teeth, tongue, light, whole skull in a pool of white light, throat, thyroid, shoulders, light, forearms, hands, fingers, dripping in white light, chest, rib cage, lungs, light, stomach, liver, spleen, upper intestines, lower intestines, surrounded in a pool of light. Kidneys, bladder, pelvic bowl, cleansed in a white pool of light. Our reproductive organs, our hips, our tailbone, oozing with light. Upper thighs, kneecaps, light. Calves, ankles, heels, light, arches of feet, toes, bathed in white light, cleansing, purifying, dripping off and into earth. All of floor is earth. Cleansing, feeding into earth, white light. Whole body, every cell, every organ, skin, hair, light. Now you're going to envision above your head golden light, a pool like honey of golden light. And this light is going to wash over you. This light is the light of intelligence, of knowledge and wisdom. This light is gold and healing. This light pours over your head, forehead, midbrain, temples, down to your ear, inner ear, roof of mouth, teeth, gums, tongue, golden honey light, lower jaw, neck, thyroid, honey light, shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, palm of hand, dripping fingertips with golden honey, intelligent light, chest, rib cage, lungs, light, stomach, spleen, liver, honey light. Small intestine, large intestine, bladder, gallbladder, kidneys, bathed in golden, intelligent light, all of pelvic bowl, hip bones, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, honey, heels of feet, arches, balls of feet, toes, honey light, dripping, dripping into the earth, feeding the earth with all this intelligence, all the intelligence from your body, all the intelligence from the source of honey light, feeding into earth. Whole body, honey light. In your mind's eye, I invite you to envision yourself cupping your hands together, like you're holding something so special, so sacred, and you are. As you look in your hands, you see a pool of water, and this water holds information just for you. This water is the water of remembrance. That you are the co-creator with water. You are the co-creator with light and life and all the intelligence of the universe. When we gaze into this water, you're going to receive exactly what you need. And with this water, we're going to send it to our kidneys. Our kidneys are one of the organs of winter, of water. They help us fulfill our purpose, to know our desires, to have the energy to take action, being brave and courageous. Your kidneys have now been fed with the highest intelligence of water. All of body, water. All of body, light. Water is life.
Taking your next breath in a little deeper, a little bit more on purpose. Maybe letting it out the mouth a little bit louder, a little bit slower, a little bit more complete. Another breath like that, kind of like a sigh, breathing in through your nose, and making some noise out of your mouth on the way out. Good things come in threes, so one more time, breathe in from the belly through the ribs, and exhale it out. As you're ready, start to move through the fingertips and the toes, and pull the knees up into your chest for a little rock side to side. And then let that slowly tip down to the left into a fetal pose. Maybe your head is still pillowed on the blanket. The knees are curled up and in towards the chest as far as feels good, resting on the left side of your body. And then taking a few breaths here out of gratitude for one thing that you are grateful for or happy about inside this moment. And taking that thought and that breath and all of that light that you just cultivated with you as you slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Maybe last few little tips and sways, letting out any snap, crackle, pop inside the head and the neck. Just finding a taller seat, breathing both hands up overhead. Last collective breath together. Exhale, hands down to the heart. May this practice be of benefit to us and also to everyone else that we come into contact with, taking us from a place of feeling depleted or scattered to a place that feels present and listening. Namaste. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for showing up to slow down with us. Big thanks to the full rest movement team here and to Hans, our sound healer. That was amazing. And if you need to find Brittany, she's at the Plant Ally. And if you need to find either of these beauties for a full-on massage, just grab one of them before you leave and get their phone number and drink some extra water and have some sweet, sweet dreams. Thanks for coming, guys. And we'll get the props, so just make sure your balls are inside their tote, and we'll take care of the rest. You can just kind of leave it where it is and float on out of here. So, big time thank you to Leo, who is running our sound. I could not do this without him, our sound master.